Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of SuperFantaFi. This being a show, we're talking about TV shows of the supernatural, fantasy, and or science fictional genre. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about new Saga Season 1, Episode 10. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. So we're immediately picking up in the aftermath of last episode where Theron got his hands on the Holy Sword of Ran, and he's ready to kind of put in some work. And because the two demons were so distracted, they got blindsided by both Kyle and Lisa and Urza. Lisa and Urza weren't able to do a lot of damage, but they were able to draw some blood. And pointing out the fact is the demons said they wouldn't be able to land a single hit on her. Whereas Kyle cut off the demon's horn, which it seems like demons kind of come from the Ronso tribe perspective on things. The Ronsos being a tribe of inhabitants of Spira from Final Fantasy X. But the whole if you're seen as less than if you were without your horn. There's a main protagonist Final Fantasy X who is of that tribe and doesn't have a horn. Does have a horn, but it's a broken horn, and that's a whole thing. So I guess it's interesting because I'm like, how much research can you really do on demons? Because I don't know how much stuff is known about demons publicly. So because no one brings up anything that Kyle say oh, you know a lot about demons, but it's some of that might just be what is kind of known from 3 centuries ago, little stuff here and there that just kind of innate knowledge, not innate knowledge, but knowledge that is readily available. It's just a matter of whether you look it up or not. Because I'm I guess Kyle could also just have it from the personal experience, which I was kind of assuming it would be from, of fighting demons and seeing how they react to a horn being missing. It's no, and how they're seen as lesser than by other demons. But it could be a combination of two. Maybe it is just one or the other. And because of that, Kyle's cool, we'll walk away from this. Give me 3 days and I will challenge you to a one-on-one duel. And if you win, I will give you your horn back as well as the Holy Sword, which even Theron's hey, yo, that's not yours to bargain with. It's also not yours, homie, considering you just took. We'll get to that the ownership conversation in a bit, but I get it. It's yo, I went through a lot of trouble to find this sword. Not that much trouble, but still, this is mine. You should probably ask me first. But Kyle's nah, man, we're going to do this. And if we win, we're going to get information. You're going to tell me more about the inner workings of the demons, how many demons you have hidden out here in human society. You do that, and then, that'll be how this is all settled. So the demons leave, and everyone kind of goes their ways to kind of lick their wounds and prepare. Obviously, Kazuha and Miranda are reunited, and it is kind of the thing of Kyle being wow, they really are lovers. It's kind of weird, but nevertheless happy. And so Kyle has a sit down with Gaza. Turns out he's known for at least a month about the whole missing people thing, and he kept asking the governor to back down, but the governor was so stuck in his own ways of I want to see this through. Because this is for Karen, and we this is the only way to save it. And in fact, it's if you don't join me in doing all this, I will kill Miranda and go just to try and get Kazuha on his side. So that's why he was kind of being a little distanced towards Miranda, because it was his way to kind of keep them safe. But it kind of was all kind of moot in the end. And now became the conversation about ownership of the sword, because the sword technically is a national treasure to Karen. It's Gaza was yo, you need to hand that over. But it's Kyle kind of playing the role of the D-bag hero, where he's well, we did save you. It's we did kind of rescue you. Then there was the whole situation of we're protected. Go when your house was attacked. Also, I was there to protect Miranda and drive away the demons, so kind of save your life 3 times. So what's a little national treasure holy sword for having your lives saved? Also, I'll cut you in a deal. Oh, here's a whole bunch of mithril. We were kind of coming to you because you're one of the best blacksmiths ever and around, so it's we wanted you to make something for us out of this. And can you imagine all the stuff you can do? Hell, given enough mithril will give you all that you need. You might be able to forge a sword even greater than a holy sword. So once again, Kyle has said he's fine with kind of skirting the lines of being a little scummy if it means it's for the greater good. So we, even by the end of the episode, we won't find out till next episode what it is that Kyle had Kazuha made, because whatever it is, it's going to be something that's going to give him the edge in the fight against the demon he's facing. At the same time, Lise and Urza are training, and they've got Theron watching up, because Lise and Theron were like, we'll be the ones that end up handling the female demon. And it was originally going to leave it up to Theron, but because they're so motivated, he's leaving it to them. And even, it's like, yeah, if things go sideways, you could always attack the demons from behind. And Theron's like, Jesus, you're a nasty piece of work, dude. Didn't you just say this whole thing was going to be a fair fight? And Kyle's like, yeah, sure, up to an extent. But also, like, he's like, I'm also not stupid, you know? So just in case things kind of go our favor, if they don't go in our favor, well, we'll kind of cheat if we have to. It's like, I'm not trying to be the cleanest cut hero. I'm trying to do whatever it takes to win, because this information, especially because the information is the most interested in is the new Demon King. Because I think from where they, like, when everything went down during the Great Invasion, there's probably very little information about this new Demon King. I mean, other, like, because they're technically wearing a mask and stuff, like, if I remember correctly in episode 1, so it's like, you don't even know what they really, really look like. You didn't even interact or talk with them at all. I mean, what would you have to talk about? But still, you know nothing about them, their motivations, why they had that jewel in the first place. Seems like what Kyle ended up inadvertently doing seems to be what they were going to do. The Demon King was maybe rewind time and maybe, like, try and swing this whole Great Invasion more in their favor, rather than being the... Who knows where it stood, because there was a lot of death and destruction, but we don't know where it stood in the grand scheme of, like, was it a stalemate all the way through? Was it more on the demon side winning more than the humanoids? I feel like that's probably the case, but it's unclear. Speaking of that jewel, Sidonia is taking the energy from that crystal that the governor was trying to use to, like, replenish, like, the ore in Charon. But even Kyle asked Sidonia about it. She's like, basically there is none here. Even if, like, it was able to kind of make some, what it would have done, it would have changed the landscape, and it still would have exploded. So the demons knew what they were doing. The governor, and even Kyle says it, everything the governor did was for naught. As I said last episode, that's the sad tragedy of, like, this was all the people you sacrificed trying to save Karen as a whole meant nothing, because you were never going to do that. In fact, you were going to get even more people killed doing what you're doing. So they're siphoning off some of that energy and then put it into the crystal. I'm curious to see what that does for it in the long run. I mean, all that energy that was stored up and it was burned away with Kyle traveling to, well, not just back in time, but literally traveling to the past of a parallel universe, a parallel timeline. So I don't know what's going to happen the moment, like, they fuel it with any energy at all. Maybe it will kind of give us a little, maybe, like, it might be able to come in handy with what Kyle wants to do. Because Sidonia says it's going to take maybe like a few days. Because he's giving, the battle goes down in 3 days. He gave Gazis like 2 days to make what he needed to make. And so I was curious, like, since anything can kind of rewind time, I wonder, could Kyle utilize that without having to fully go back through time or, you know, go to a parallel universe? Could he kind of, like, freeze time or rewind it with the power of that? Like, could he use it more offensively? But I don't know. It might not be utilized in that way. It's more supposed to act as a storage unit for all that energy, just so it doesn't explode, because that crystal can handle that amount of energy, unlike the green crystal that's there that was going to explode and kill, like, a whole bunch of people. So, but I'm still curious if all that energy inside of it, will anything come of it or not? We'll have to wait to see. Obviously, it's the day before the match, and, like, Theron is sleeping like there's no problem. And Sidonia's just, she can't relax, because she's like, why is he in particular so relaxed? It's like, to be fair, that's very Theron of it all, but also Kyle's like, yeah, I prefer it this way, because it's like, stressing about it isn't going to do anything. We put in the time, we put in the effort, we've laid out our plans, and it's like, all we can do is make the best of it and see how this is all going to work out. So the next day, they show up Kyle being Kyle, he never specified what time they should meet, just said like, oh, we're going to meet up 3 days from now. And they're like, because of your poor planning and missing the small details, let's stop for tea and snacks. Then the demons show up, and Kyle's like, hey, you made us wait. He's got a cup of tea in his hand, and he's got crumbs on his face. And Lise and just Urza are like, oh my god, you look like that damn slob. Let's go. And then, like, it's like, oh, clean up this spot. And then just like, there's Sidonia flying, eating, being like, how could you guys stop for a snack or whatever? And Theron's calling her out for a BS, and it's like, obviously the two demons are like, are you taking us for an effing joke? It's like, sorry, let's get to it. The male demon and Kyle will go somewhere else, because it's like too crowded for like two big battles, and the girls will fight the female demon. So just to show like a sign of respect to them, considering how like she's like, I've tested your might and I know not underestimate you now, so I'm fighting you at full strength. Which obviously they are in a tough spot initially, because obviously Lise can barely get out of the way of like her blows, and like none of what Urza is doing. Like her salamander can't land any blows either. Lise in particular has to like hide behind a pillar just to get away from the fire. Then the golem is kind of easily dispatched. I mean, its hand/arm was destroyed. It's cause she's ridiculously strong, but I love the tactic of like the golem in front of Lise, and Lise just using it as an opportunity to hide what she's doing, punches through its stomach, and that pillar of its stomach that comes flying out hits the demon, and then Lise bashes through it and hits her. Because Lise is crazy strong, so I think, because up until this point, Lise's never been able to land a direct blow. Like earlier in the episode, the drop of blood was like the closest amount of a blow they've been able to land in this point in time, like a more direct, powerful hit. And then like she charges at Lise, and Lise like ducks down and like hits her. And I guess it's supposed to be like she's a little disorientated initially from that powerful blow and caught off guard, and just kind of like, I got to rush in this. And I guess that gave Lise the opportunity to make another blow. And you see her kind of just like it's not quite gasping but for air, but kind of in that same ballpark. I don't think they've won one, because I think I think it just kind of skewed the battle more in their favor in that moment. But I don't think that counts as technically a victory, because I don't think she's like down for the count. It's like, you got me, but it's like, it's not over. But I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but she was just coughing and kind of like gasping, but I don't think they've won. But like I said, could be wrong on my part. And obviously we won't get to we're only just starting Kyle's fight with the demon, and so we'll see how things fare on that front. Really going to be interesting to see how this all fares. I think I brought it up in a previous episode, maybe last episode. I believe it's only 12 episodes, so this should get it might not get resolved next episode. Maybe a good chunk of it will, and it all ends with its conclusion in 12. And I mean, what that potentially sets up for the future of the story, because obviously none of this was going to get like majorly resolved. But I was just curious to see like how much of like the light novel, having never read it, the story you'll get through, and like what this arc ends up being, and what the aftermath and of all of this is, especially with everything with the governor, and like, will they kill these demons? Will they let them go after getting some information? Like, I could definitely see Kyle being like, oh, we should kill them, but I don't know. Especially if they learn about what other like demon assets are like basically scattered about in the human society, and getting more info about the new demon king. But maybe it's like, if they turn on him, maybe he can instantly kill them type of situation. We'll have to wait to see what the aftermath of next episode is, and what that kind of sets up for episode 12 as well, or just what information we get in general. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.